Good morning and welcome to our Ashworth Wealth Weekly Market Update. My name is Scott Thomas. And boy, it seems like every time I sit down to do one of these, we've got major things going on, whether it's tariffs. Obviously, this week, when I left the office last week, things seem to be relatively calm. And over the weekend, over the last few days, obviously, things in the Middle East have gotten much more tenuous. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today is how things in the Middle East, particularly in Iran, how the conflict over there, how that's affecting us in our markets and what we can expect from that. So a couple of things I wanted to start with. I'm going to start with the chart. This is oil production. Oil, how much oil we have been importing, from the late 60s all the way through to today. And I'm going to talk about how that plays into what's going on in the world right now. As of right now, Iran, they produce about 4% of the world's oil. That's a pretty major piece. But also, as kind of a side note to that, Russia, where the other conflict is going on right now, they produce about 12% of the world's oil. So between those two conflicts that are going on right now, we've got almost 20% of the world's oil production that is in flux right now, and that obviously destabilizes prices. That can affect inflation. It can affect economies. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that and what we think we need to be doing during this time of unrest, both in the Middle East and also over in Ukraine. Inflation. Let me talk about inflation and where things have been over the last year. Inflation, and we've covered this a lot. We cover this almost every week. Inflation has been going steadily down. A big part of that is because energy prices have been going down. We are down about 3.5%. If you look over the last year, energy prices as a whole are down about 3.5%. Well, when energy prices are down, that means that it's easier to, or it's cheaper to transport goods, produce goods, as we're driving our cars. Everything is affected by energy prices. So overall, one of the big reasons that inflation is down is because energy prices have been down. So all economists are watching to see what happens with energy prices going forward. I'll give you some numbers here in just a minute. We estimate, speaking of inflation and either going up or down, a 10% increase in oil, excuse me, a $10 increase in the price of oil per barrel is roughly equivalent to about a 0.3% increase in CPI inflation, Consumer Price Index. Again, if oil prices go up, transportation gets more expensive, farm equipment uses lots of oil. It just everything gets more expensive, and it's not a direct relationship, but a 10% or a $10 increase in oil typically equals about a 3% in CPI inflation. The chart that I wanted to show you today and share with you today is how much oil as a percentage of our GDP have we imported. And the reason this is important is if you go back to the late 60s, early 70s, we were importing almost 3.5%. We've had a couple of spikes there. We hit it again in 2009. There have been times where we have imported almost up to 4%, 3.5%, 4% of our energy we have imported, or 4% of our GDP we have imported in oil. Now, over the last few years, we are a net exporter of oil. And what that really means is our economy does not fluctuate as much as it did. We are not as dependent on other countries for energy production. And the more that we're producing ourselves gives us more money into our economy, and there's less volatility. So that is actually a very good thing. We are less reliant on others and less reliant on these big swings and the price swings. So that is a good sign for our economy. So the gist of it is we hope and pray that there will be some kind of a conflict both in Ukraine versus Russia and in Iran and Israel, that those conflicts will be over soon. However, as long as things are in flux, the markets are going to be very jittery. And there's been a lot of people have been fleeing to, gold and silver. Those prices have been going up. People want to be safe with their money. So what we are doing with our own money and what we're advising clients to do is stay diversified. Stay diversified in times of uncertainty. The best thing that we can do is not panic, but to stay diversified and ride out these storms. So hopefully this helped a little bit to maybe explain a little bit about where we're at. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. I did go back and look at oil prices as of last Monday or Tuesday, and they were sitting at about $66 a barrel. Where are we right now? As of about 10 minutes ago, I checked it again. We're at about $70 a barrel. So we are up. It's not up dramatically. Yes, it's higher than we'd like to see it, but as of right now, I think everybody is just holding their breath, waiting to see what happens with this conflict, and hopefully things don't spin out of control and get much worse. So, what does this do for inflation that's been going down? Well, that remains to be seen. We're too early into this to see if it's going to affect inflation too much, but a long-term increase in oil obviously is going to affect inflation. So we're hoping that this comes to a conclusion quickly. So again, our advice is let's stay diversified, stay focused on the long term, and I think we'll ride this out just fine. Anyway, as always, if you have any questions, concerns, if you please, email us, call us, and if there's a particular topic you'd like us to cover, we'd be happy to do it. Thank you. Appreciate it.